Call the meeting to order. All are present except for Sherry. Let's stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
The flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
No one is here for the open forum, so can I have a motion to approve the agenda?
So moved.
I'll second.
Any additions? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes 6-0. Consent agenda.
I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Second.
Any additions, comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion passes 6-0. Committee reports, policy.
We met on October 14th, and with the exception of one policy that will have further review, we are all caught up and current with our policies.
The policies that we had for review and for tonight, I think we're going to have further discussion on the technology one. So it's the first reading of all of them except for the technology,
Yes.
staff technology use. Southwest Metro.
We had our board meeting last Tuesday, and the school year is off to a good start. Things are going well. We're moving ahead with the plans for the addition to the Jordan building, and we're also looking forward to being hopefully approved for the intermediate school district status rather than a co-op. So hopefully we'll work on that tonight.
CPAC.
There was no CPAC meeting, I'm sorry.
Community Ed.
We're on November 19th.
Okay. Superintendent reports.
Yes, just an update, and I know many people know about this, but it was tough last week finding out, getting informed early Friday morning of Paul Flick's passing. Paul Flick, for people that don't know, was principal here for 26 years. He retired in 1993. At age 55, and I know my first year as middle school principal, which would have been 10 years after he retired, but heard many stories, what a positive impact he's had on the school district, the community as a whole, on kids, on adults, everyone, and we've obviously our condolences to Roseanne and her family. We had the funeral today, and just a great person. And I know Roseanne is happy that they're going to be doing a scholarship in Paul's name through the New Prague Area Educational Foundation. And we're also going to be having an Educator of the Year award on the last day with staff. Roseanne and her family will be there. It'll be the Paul Flick Silver Apple Award, and so we'll award that to the Educator of the Year from now on. So, just want to mention that. Second thing, I'll just give you an update on the attendance area plan. I've told Sid from the beginning we're going to follow the process here, and we had a committee, or task force, I should say, study the issue and met 3 times in August and September. There were parents and administrators on this committee. The second thing we did, we sent out surveys. About 1,500 surveys went out online, or electronically, I should say, a couple weeks ago. And we had 504 surveys returned, so about 35% of the families responded to the questions on the survey. So we had great participation. We had some great input, some very constructive feedback. I think there is still a little confusion, maybe a misunderstanding on that enrollment at a school when one gets full, that affects class size. It really doesn't affect the class size. That's a staffing issue, which is totally separate. I know there's also confusion on inter-district transfer, just the whole history of what's happened in the past. There's also confusion, I think, or some misunderstanding on the distance in Lonsdale from Eagle View to Falconridge, which is basically the same. But those are things that we've got meetings coming up. November 16th at 6:30 at Eagle View Elementary. I'll be having an informational meeting for all district community members and parents. And then on Thursday, November 19th, same time at 6:30 at Falcon Ridge. And what I want to do at those meetings is basically give a little bit of history for these people, but also to clarify some of these misunderstandings, have start out with some frequently asked questions or some of these things, these misunderstandings right from the beginning to help everyone here and just to become more informed. But the feedback was very good, and the people were very honest, and they were very, I think all of them were very appreciative that they had a chance to give input and be part of the process. So again, when we talk process, besides having that committee and the survey, next are the informational meetings. And again, to give information, and also to get, it's a two-way street here, is to get input at those meetings too. And then hopefully we'll see where we're at that time, if we need to do any follow-up survey or whatever. But then pretty much we're going to, I'll make a recommendation, but it's going to be your decision on where to go here in regards to any changes for elementary attendance areas. So things are moving along, and I think it's going about the way we thought it would go, which has been, I think, very positive. Are there any questions, comments? Okay, the other thing pertains to people around the table here. I just want to remind people, school board election next Tuesday, November 3rd. Polls are open from 7 a.m. till 8 o'clock p.m. And then invite all board members to be here and candidates. Well, we should have the results almost immediately. So right after 8 o'clock, Janelle will have the results for us, and we'll have a little reception here and get that out into the public. So that's pretty much all I have.
Thank you. Next on our discussion item, we have the middle school design development. Eric.
Good evening. Tonight I'm presenting the design development for the middle school addition and renovation. It's very similar to the schematic design that I presented last time I was here. But just to go through it very quickly, we're adding on to the existing middle school to accommodate the 6th grade, moving from the Central Education campus to that building. We're adding 3 houses at 125 students each, bringing the building capacity to 1,000. We're adding a secure entrance with a new administration addition, a new auxiliary gymnasium, fitness, loading dock, and kitchen addition, which also helps expand the cafeteria, because the existing serving area is moved back into the existing kitchen, which helps increase the size of the cafeteria. And then we're renovating the existing administration for special education.
Eric, could you just take a minute to explain what houses mean when it comes to middle school? Some people don't have children in middle school and don't understand.
I think when I get to the plan,
Okay.
I can explain that
Okay.
a little bit easier. So looking at the site plan, in the northeast corner, we're adding in the light blue, the auxiliary gymnasium, fitness, and kitchen expansion. We are taking some of that parking lot, so we're building a new parking lot on the west side of the auditorium area along Central. And then we see in the light blue on the lower left of the site plan, the classroom addition and a new office at the main entry and a small expansion of the art area. We're also creating a new bus entry off the east side of the building that will come directly into the locker commons. So this is the overall diagram of the building, and I will jump right into some more detailed plans. This is the upper level plan. So the auxiliary gym up in the upper right-hand corner, the fitness in the middle of the plan on the north side, and then the loading dock with the left, kitchen servery below that, and then the commons cafeteria. We're also remodeling the practice rooms in the music suite, and we are taking the existing fitness room and creating gym and athletic storage in that area. This is the main entry, the main vestibule where you come in the light blue, and right to the south of that is the new administration, principal's office, counselors, nurse, social worker, and reception area. And right to the north of the main entry is the new staff lounge. The existing staff lounge becoming table storage for the cafeteria. And then we're expanding the art rooms on the south side to increase that square footage in each of those art rooms. On the east side of the building is the existing administration, which is turning into special ed suite, as well as a conference room and psychologist area, occupational therapy, speech therapy, and a special ed office. And then this is the classroom addition. When we talked about a house, what we have is 3 regular-sized classrooms and a larger classroom that we call a flex classroom that serves more of a multi-purpose function. Science, those types of spaces can happen. We also call those a wet classroom sometimes. So we have 3 regular classrooms and a flex room, which make up a house. And also in that house is a cluster or a resource center that is outside of those classrooms that can be used for pull-out space. 2 of those classrooms will have a large glass door that will open and can open to that resource space so they can do team teaching, they can have large group instruction. One of the classrooms will be fully enclosed with a door for quiet work, and then we have the flex classroom. In each of the houses, there's a set of toilets for those students, as well as a flex room and 2 flex rooms, I should say, that can be used for smaller group instruction. So there were 2 houses on the main level and then one house on the upper level.
Yeah, and I just want to mention here, and we've had the middle school house concept or this cluster model since 1998, and we do that so it's more personalized learning. So these students, usually between 100 and 125 students are with the same core teachers for the basically so it's like almost a school within a school. And what this does by having 3 more clusters or 3 more houses, we'll have 9 then. So we'll have up to 3 for each grade.
Correct.
Yep.
And the students primarily stay in the house unless they go to art,
Right.
music, or Phi-Ed.
Yep. So this will be, and like right now in the existing building, we only have space for 6 houses, which, we're really using 5 right now, but it should be 6, and it's just not enough room right now. That's why the 6th grade is over here.
Can I ask a question?
Yes.
Back in our days, we had home ec and industrial arts. None of that's offered at middle school.
Yeah, industrial arts is technology education is actually called now. It's more of an engineering class. They do some traditional things with woodworking, stuff like that, but we still have that. FACS, Family and Consumer Science, it's first offered in the high school now. It's no longer in the middle school. The allied, we have, when we talk about allied classes where kids leave that core area, we have art, we have computer technology, we have industrial technology or engineering, and
Music.
and music. Thank you.
Phi-Ed.
And Phi-Ed.
We've seen this diagram before. This is the massing diagram. The light gray is the existing building, and the dark gray are the additions. Just give you an idea of what it's going to look like on the site. And now we have a number of images. So this is the main entry to the building with the yard expansion on the left. The one-story addition on the right is the office expansion, and then the two-story block on the far right is the classroom addition. We're looking at matching the existing brick with some of the materials and then coming in with a silver metal panel to match the windows and entries that exist today.
So we'll be losing the orange facing.
Correct.
Oh.
So this is another view from the entry looking to the southeast at the two-story classroom addition. And this is looking from the southwest, from the CEC building towards the one-story house with the two-story house on the left in brick. This is looking from the north side. On the left is the auxiliary gymnasium. The space with all the windows is the fitness room. And then to the right of that is the loading dock kitchen addition. This is a view looking from the locker commons in towards the reception, and the glass beyond is the main entry. So this door to the right will be the door that you will have to come into the school. That'll be the secure vestibule, and you'll be forced to come in through this door and check in the office.
How about in the morning when the buses come?
But all the doors will be unlocked in the morning, and as soon as school starts, then they'll lock those doors and force people through the office.
One thing though is, Don, is that the buses are on the east side of the building. And you said that earlier. I don't know if we have a picture coming up, but there'll be a new entryway from the east
Correct.
for students to come in from the buses.
So technically, we actually can't do much about security in the morning when all the kids,
It's
That's pretty typical for all schools, that there are so many kids coming in that you open up all the doors and let them in. It will be easier to supervise now because currently the bus students come into the house portion of the building, and now they'll come in from two ways right into the locker commons, so we'll be able to supervise the people coming in easier with a couple staff people.
yeah.
that's your picture on the slide that we're looking at?
This is a picture of one of the resource areas, so this is the resource space outside of one of the houses.
That's not you on the right-hand side.
That is not me. He's got too much hair.
Yeah.
This is another picture looking from the flex classroom out in the resource area. The dark blue you see are the locker bays that occur in the house.
So that glass wall there that I'm looking at on that picture, that's what opens?
Yes, it's like a bifolding garage door that lifts up, but it is acoustically insulated glass, so it has some acoustic properties. So when it's down, the classroom will be quiet. Here's just a shot of the one-story house. Looking from one of the classrooms out there. A shot of the fitness room and the glass to the north. And this is another shot of one of the houses looking out the exit stairwell to the west that occurs between the two houses. That's all I have. Are there any questions I can answer for you?
I have a question for Tim, and he'll probably ask you, but we know that education revolves around new concepts and different ideas that come up, and all of a sudden everybody grabs hold of it. Is the construction that we have here adaptable to another change 10, 15 years from now if they decide to have some other kind of program or something? You know, how houses came in about whatever you said. Well, maybe houses will be going out somewhere down the line.
Well, actually, if you look at the conversion that we did in 1998 in the middle school, we really just took out a couple of classrooms and made some resource areas. So the changes to put it back into a traditional building would be very similar. This house really would function as a traditional classroom because it has enclosed classrooms.
So it wouldn't be any problem.
Correct.
Yeah, and I'd say the big thing now, well, I think with the house system here is flexible learning environments, be able to go in small groups or work individually at times in a commons area. I mean, that's what, and this stays right along that concept. So I think it keeps us still updated.
Correct. And the houses have been around for 25 years, so it's not something that's real new or trendy.
I was around for a while, and things changed often.
We had teachers on the committee or in the task force, and they were all, I mean, this is what they wanted to continue to do. And it's been, I mean, you guys know the middle school, it's been a very successful model, and one that, you know, other people from other districts have looked at and toured, and it's a good design. It's just really updating and just really making more room.
Correct. But we still have traditional classrooms.
Yep. Do you want to talk about the schedule at all?
Yes. I will be back here on December 10th to review what we call the construction documents phase, and that is the phase right before we issue the plans to the contractors for bidding. And once we get approval to go out to bid, we'll be issuing the drawings shortly thereafter and accepting bids on January 14th and coming back to award the bids on January 25th.
And on schedule to start the digging by May 1st, or?
As soon as the frost is out and they can
Frost
move
out,
equipment on site, yes.
Yeah.
And so they'll be able to get their submittals and paperwork into us and start to prepare for construction.
Right. And then, I mean, there's work they obviously can do outside the buildings, but we have early out because we started early, so we'll be out May 26th. And so that will obviously help with construction. In our November work session, I should have a couple drafts for the calendar for next year, which will be very similar to this year, where we'll have early start again, early out, because for the following year, we're going to have to go a late start to get the most we can of the summer. So just so you know, my goal this week to get that done so we're ready for November work session. But
We really need to complete the middle school so we can move sixth grade over, because we really can't do much work in this building until those students are out of it.
right, and we want sixth grade to be moved over a year from February. So those of you remember back in 2006, the big move out to Eagleview, or to Eagleview Ravenstream. Right now, all we have to do is go across the street. So we think, should be a pretty easy transition, and it needs to get done so they can get the construction going here at the CEC.
On construction schedule, have we done anything with that building north of the Falcon Ridge?
North of,
Remember this early childhood now?
yes, that's a great question, Don. That will become, that's where we'll have the alternative learning center.
But we haven't done anything with it yet.
No, we'll have minor changes basically on the
I think the only thing we really have to do is raise toilets, make the bathrooms for the larger students,
and
most part.
No comment.
but that will be a very positive change. It'll be nice for them to be right across the street. We don't have to bus them for lunch and
Good proximity.
yeah, great proximity, but it's going to be their own separate building too. And some of the kids do go part-time already. They take elective classes at the high school, so all they got to do is walk across the street, which they've been trained to do when they were back in the 6th, 7th, and 8th grade if they were in the middle school.
So technically that building is empty right now?
No, we still have early childhood there.
I thought
Yep, we're gonna.
We didn't move them all here?
No, we're staying there until the fall of 17.
Correct. If we have to remodel their space here, which is being used by sixth grade now, I believe, so.
Yes. Any other questions? Does it look good?
Very good.
Looks very, very nice.
Exciting. Thank you, Eric.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Next, we have mock trial activity.
Yes, this one, we have a tight deadline on this. This is brought up a little bit late, but we have a teacher, high school teacher that has interest from students in this activity. I'm recommending that we act on this for approval on the following conditions: that student fees will cover the costs, and if fees fall short of this cost of this activity, the high school budget will incur the activity within their current budget, so it won't increase the budget. The advisor for this activity is volunteer. It is not a paid position, and it's a pilot activity for 1 year. We really need to do, and I've talked to the high school and middle school administration, really need to take a thorough evaluation of all our co-curricular activities, which includes athletics, fine arts, the academic, the clubs, everything, and really we need to find out what the student interest is and what the staffing levels are in each of the things. And I'm just concerned we keep adding and adding and adding, and are we having some activities where we don't have staff and we need it, or we're overstaffed in some areas, or there's interest that we're not providing. So whether we do surveys or what, I've asked Lonnie Seifert and Brad Greger and Brad Skogerbo to take a look at these things. But like I said, for this mock trial, I think it's a good thing. Obviously, it's there is student interest in this, and I think we can incur it within our current budget. If it was going to be a paid position or it'd be an add to the budget, I would say no to this.
Who do they compete with then? I'm assuming it's after school, the kind of competition?
Yep.
Is it conference, the Wright County Conference?
I
or
don't believe it's Wright County, no. There's a mock trial
Conference or something?
association.
Okay.
Yep.
Any idea how widespread or how popular it is with other school districts?
The school districts I've been at have had it. Yeah, this is really anecdotal. I don't have the data, but I think most school districts our size, I would say at least half of them have it. I mean, not everyone has it, but it's a pretty common co-curricular activity.
You just want a motion to approve the
Please.
activity?
Yep.
I'll make a motion to approve the mock trial activity.
I'll second.
Any further discussion?
No, it just sounds like a good idea for the students.
It's worth a try.
Yep.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion passes 6-0. The joint powers agreement with the Southwest Metro Educational Cooperative.
You want to talk about this?
Right. The initial organization for the Southwest Metro was a co-op, and it's been shown that by becoming a joint powers co-op, it's a good system, it's a good program, but we'd like to have it be an intermediate school district, which gives it a few more options to do more programs and to give it a little bit more autonomy than it had under the auspices of a co-op. Everything else will stay the same. The member districts will still have control over what the final programs will be at the district. The superintendents will still be sitting as advisors to our administration over at the new intermediate school district. Not many things will change, but it gives the district more autonomy and a little bit more capability of taking on more programs and serving more students in a more way that gives more opportunities for students to participate at the intermediate school district. Tim, anything else to add?
No, you pretty much said it. I mean, and then I think there's a few things at the state level for funding, like for staff development or the whole teacher evaluation thing. I mean,
Right. And that's the autonomy part of it.
Yeah.
They get to be treated more as a school district rather than just a co-op.
and there's really no downside. And then as far as, with having a, for example, lease levy, if one vote from any of the districts would deny any increase on any type of levy, that type of thing. So financially, it's not going to be a negative by any means. So the school district.
If it's spread out all over the place, I mean, there's a place in Lydia, a place in Jordan, a place in Shakopee.
Well,
The special district, right?
it's an
Intermediate.
intermediate school district. It's an autonomous school district from that standpoint. But the location still will stay the same. It'll be headquartered in Shakopee at its current headquarters. We'll still maintain the other programs at their current sites in Chaska and Shakopee. So nothing really changes that way.
You know, and we have a need for Southwest Metro with some of our kids that we can't meet their needs here. Now, the numbers have gone down tremendously over the years, because financially, if we can offer the programming for some of these things, it's much more cost effective. But I think, correct me if I'm wrong, Sandy, we have about 13 or 14 students probably right around there, maybe 15 at the very most, that attend Southwest Metro.
In various programs.
In various programs. And we need to work with, you know, it's a good thing to be part of Southwest Metro because we can't offer that programming here.
One of our biggest areas of enrollment would be at the Jordan Building, where we have students that have a setting for emotional disturbance type of problems, disability types of problems, that we cannot meet their needs here in this district. So
Yep.
they get the assistance and education that they need in that location. And then we have the program for the women who are, have children while they're still in school. We have that program, and each independent district couldn't house that program. That's thankfully a small number, but by having it be a part of the intermediate, we can provide a good program for those expectant mothers or mothers that are still in the school setting, which is very important. So it's those real special needs areas that New Prague really benefits from being in that setting.
Yeah. Like you said, not really a downside to
There really
doing
isn't,
it.
no.
Is there a resolution you need to?
At this time, I'll entertain a motion to consider the resolution for approving the joint powers agreement.
So move.
Is there a second?
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to consider the following resolution. Whereas Southwest Metro Educational Cooperative is a joint powers formed under Minnesota statute, whereas Independent School District 721 is a founding collaborative member district of the Southwest Metro Educational Cooperative, through board resolution which ultimately established the Southwest Metro Educational Cooperative as a joint powers entity on July 1st, 2013. Whereas the resolution forming the Southwest Metro Educational Cooperatives Incorporated, a joint powers agreement setting forth the governance and other standards for and the Southwest Metro Educational Cooperative. Whereas the Southwest Metro Educational Cooperative Joint Powers Agreement anticipated the possible formation of an intermediate district with the member school district boards agreeing. Continued operation as an intermediate school district will continue, whereas the Minnesota State Legislature in a special session passed the legislation that allowed for us to set up a intermediate school district as defined by Minnesota statutes. Whereas the proposed joint powers agreement has been prepared, which establishes the Southwest Metro Intermediate District as a joint powers entity under Minnesota statutes. Whereas the Southwest Metro Intermediate District would serve to replace the functions of the Southwest Metro Educational Cooperative. Whereas a copy of the proposed joint powers agreement is attached and incorporated by reference. Now therefore be it resolved by the School Board of Independent School District 721 that the attached joint powers agreement be and hereby is approved, that the chairman and clerk are hereby authorized to execute and deliver the attached joint powers agreement, that in the event that less than 2 of the collaborating districts approve the joint powers agreement, this resolution shall be void and have no force or effect, that in the event an intermediate district is formed, the governing board of the Southwest Metro Educational Cooperative shall be directed to transfer all assets, liabilities, functions to the Southwest Metro Intermediate District and subsequently dissolve the educational cooperative. That pursuant to Minnesota statutes, this resolution shall be published once in a newspaper in the district or in a newspaper having general circulation in the district and shall become effective 30 days after publication unless within the 30-day period a petition for referendum on the resolution is filed with the school board signed by qualified voters of the school district equal in number to 5% of the number of voters voting at the last annual school district election. In such case, the resolution shall not become effective until approved by a majority of the voters voting thereon at a regular or special election. The motion for adopting the foregoing resolution was duly made and seconded. How do you vote on this, Don?
Yes.
Jean?
Yes.
Tammy?
Yes.
Kitten?
Yes,
Jerry?
Yes.
Dennis? Yes, item passes.
thank you. I think we already got the attendance area update in your superintendent update.
Yep, I just put in there.
Next, we have the contract approval for Chris Piers.
Yes. Lonnie Seifert, Martin Baller, and Tony Boothie have been working with Chris Piers for the last month. It's not the same type of programming, but our curriculum, as you know it, with what we're doing with Mail, we're getting kids out working with Mail and doing mentoring and doing a rotation there, or they're also going to local businesses like Chart, Scott Equipment, veterinarian office, CPA office, that type of thing. But this is also multidisciplinary, and it's actually, this person got it started at Minnetonka High School. It's called their Vantage program, and it's been very, very successful. And basically, it's offering curriculum working with businesses also, or business leaders, and it's multidisciplinary. And actually, Minnetonka's off-site, but Lonnie and Martin are going to present this at our work session. I'm just asking you to approve this tonight, this consultant contract. We can get out of it 30-day notice and just be prorated. I know they're meeting, I think, this week with students. I think they're going to meet with 50 juniors, 50 seniors, and really get their input on the type of things that we're looking at doing. And like I said, Lonnie and Martin will present this to you. And, you know, if you don't support this change, we can get out of it. Or if there's low student interest, we don't have to do it. But I think I think we really need to really take a look at what we're doing at the high school level, so we keep kids in the high school and we meet the needs of all kids, from the low to the middle to the high. And I think we can do this by being innovative and offering these types of programs. And you'll learn more about it, again, like I said, at our November work session.
When does it take effect? November 1st or?
It would go into effect, the contract, immediately, but if we got out of it, if we say, you know, at the work session or for whatever, if they meet the focus groups, we would, you know, pay him for the hours that he's put in so far, meeting with them or meeting with the kids and stuff like that, and it wouldn't be that big a deal, but he has been working for us right now. And it would be, if we're going to do this, we need his help. He's done it, was able to initiate this curriculum change at Minnetonka, and it's been very, very successful there.
More than likely, we need a good year to see if it's working, though, or?
Oh, we're only going to use him for this first year to get it off the ground.
Or at least through May, yeah, okay.
And so this, if we go ahead with this, we go ahead with these classes, we will need your approval. Lonnie usually does it in late November or December for the curriculum offerings for next year. So it'll be your final approval just even on the classes, and then we have student registration. So
Is this something that's in the curriculum budget or high school, or where is it?
we have, within our existing budget and communications, we're just going to shift
Okay.
some of the money we had budgeted for that into this area.
So
It's not going to be an increase in our budget. It's just, we're just shifting it.
So basically, we're paying for a consultant that'll train our administration and our other educational leaders to do this program
Yep.
in our district.
And kind of assess if there's a
Yep,
need.
and work with the teachers. We're
interest.
going to have to get teachers trained in this, and yeah, we could not do this alone. It's a pretty innovative type of curriculum. And he's going to be there. This Chris Pierce will be at the meeting with these students, these focus groups, you might want to call them or whatever, of students this week also. He's very, very good.
How come we didn't do this sooner?
What's that?
How come we didn't do this sooner? Because it seems rather strange that he's been working a while and now we're approving him.
He's met us a couple times with Marin and Lonnie.
Well, I think you can have consultants without an official contract approval.
Well, if he's not being paid,
He's not-
we're not out anything for what he's done.
We just said we're gonna pay him.
We're going
We're
to.
go-
Now we're
From
gonna
From
do
now
what we're
on,
gonna
from
do.
now on.
Ask Mr. Ditberger, okay?
Yep. He's met several times, but we have not paid him, no.
Okay. That doesn't answer.
I'll make a
Yep.
motion to approve the Vantage consultant.
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Good idea.
Opposed? Motion passes 6-0. Finally, we have some Education Foundation grants to approve. Looks like this month there's almost $1,200 in grants, some reading material for Falcon Ridge, some technology accessories at Ravenstream, and some learning activities at the high school.
I'll make the motion to approve those grants.
I'll second.
Any further discussion?
I think these grants have been very helpful to our school
Yeah,
district.
it's been interesting to see. They're becoming more frequent now.
Yes.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion passes 6-0. Now we need to enter into a closed session per Minnesota statute 13D.03 sub 1 for contract negotiations.
I'll make the motion to go into closed session.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes 6-0.